Well, hello. If you're just joining in, I'm Sebastian Ane, the Almost Naked CEO, and this is the Almost Naked conversation on Romaniac TV. Now, since the conversation is almost naked and the CEO is almost naked, see, I'm appropriately dressed. Just saying, okay? Speaking of which, why we call this show Almost Naked Conversation is we deal with topics that are taboo, that are difficult to talk about. People are hesitant to have a dialogue on, but they are necessary for us, our community, to actually make a difference, to make our lives better. But this time, I don't have a guest. Instead, I have a co host. So let me tell you a little bit about my co host. And how do I tell you? I tell you like this.
You're watching Almost Naked Conversation on Dream Maniac TV. Hi, welcome everybody. My name is Bev Pohlit, and I'm the co-founder of Heart Sisters Heart Attack and Disease Support Group. And I am so absolutely thrilled to be the co-host of Almost Naked Conversation with Sebastian, where there are no boundaries. Just a few years ago, I found myself close to death and fearing my life at others' hands, not knowing if I would see my loved ones again to say a final goodbye. And then this is where I decided I needed to dig down deep inside to survive. I'm an advocate of women's heart health, and I'm on the path to stop the silence so that more women's lives can be saved. I need to talk with all of you how we can do this. And Sebastian is joining me on this journey on Almost Naked Conversation, where I will share my mission that I'm working on to make changes to save women's lives. And it may be yours. Hi, my name is Bev Pohlit, and I'm the
And I do hope you did save the date because Beth Pohlit is right here with me. Please welcome Beth Pohlit to the Almost Naked conversation about heart disease and women.
Hey,
where are you, Bev?
How
There you
are
are.
you? Thank you for having.
My heart is happy.
Thank you.
because of
I'm so
you.
thrilled to be here. This is amazing. I'm. This is a platform that is so important to so many women, and thank you for sharing it with me and inviting me to be your co-host. So much fun.
It is my honor, and let me tell you this. Given that you're the primary co-host today, I think the position should change. So let's bring you to the right place. Here you go.
Oh my. Here we go. I think I just got a little Right.
Oh, well. Okay, so first of all, I have to tell you, there's lots of people watching right now. Lots of your friends, lots of my friends, people are watching. They are excited for you. So as you start the show and do everything, I'm gonna put up the comments. So feel free to acknowledge all of them. So take it away.
That's fine. First of all, I would love for everybody who's watching tonight to give a shout out to where you're from, because it's really going to, show us where everybody is, how far this can go. And it can go very far. And it's really funny because just tonight with it going live is only one step. It goes further because this is recorded and you can share this and you can go further and further with this message. And this is something that it's not a surprise to anybody, but it's a silence that really needs to be unsilenced. And Sebastian is joining me in doing so.
I am absolutely honored to be doing so. Let's begin with doing the best thing that we should is acknowledge our audience. So I'm going to put up the comments and let's see how many people, how many names you recognize. And please join us, guys. So first of all, we have Chris Rainier, I believe. She says,
"Hey, Chris.
Hi. And
how are you?
Please do correct me if I say anything, any name wrong. Renette Brown says, I'm here and waiting. There you go. And yes. Christine says, hello there, everyone.
She's the co-founder of Heart Sisters.
Oh, there you go. Well, you know what? You have to come and join us. You have to come and join us.
Yeah.
And then
they're saying hi to each other. Yay.
You're watching yourself. And Beth says
There's
hi.
Beth from New York City.
There you go. And then Renette says, hey, how you been? Long time no hear. Oh, no, she's right here, and she's going to talk about, so you'll hear, and make sure you keep in touch, because that's what Heart Sisters do, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And
oh, thanks, Lee. I'm glad you're here.
Looking forward to watching you, and this is so exciting, says Renette. Christine says, I'm good, how are you? And getting ready, get ready. There are so many comments. I think half our time are comments. So there you go. Not liking our cool fall weather because I know what's coming soon. Haha.
But it's good for exercise.
There we go. And I see, oh my God, there are so many comments you can't, oh my God, this is so good. Okay, so my friend Dr. Shelley Plum is here. She says, hello, amazing people.
Shelley. Nice to hear from you. Hey, Susan from Chicago.
Susan from Chicago, nice to meet you. Beth
thank you, Beth.
Oh, she's saying that to me, though. I'm kidding.
I figured that.
Beth says she's from Bayside, New York,
That's
and
right.
I'm from North Dakota. And I don't know why I always think of somebody I dated a Dakota, so I just
Southington, Connecticut with Lee, yeah.
Southington, Connecticut, Lee Pichillo, and then we have Chris from Aurora, I believe, Illinois.
Yes, Aurora. Yes. Christine's from Berks. That's a type of.
Okay, fair enough.
Berks, Pennsylvania.
Fair enough. Susan from Flossmoor, Illinois, Chicagoland. And Shelly from West Palm Beach, Florida. Oh, Shelly, I had no idea. I'm kidding. Oh my God, there's so many messages. I'm so excited. Alicia is here. She says, hey, Bab, thanks so much for being so amazing. If not for you, I wouldn't have alerted my friends, saving her life. How beautiful is that?
Alicia, thank you. I mean, I'm glad you reached out.
Absolutely.
We have to help each other. Yes.
Absolutely have to. Joanna says, hi from Brazil. We are going international. Beth, so far you keep on doing such a great work.
Thanks, Joanna.
And Beth says, I took my stress test this week. EF 65% and very happy 8-year heart attack.
Very good.
I have to agree, with a mask, it's a little bit hard, but it's very important. Right now, you have to be cautious. You have to take care of yourself. You're not doing this just for yourself. You're doing it for everybody around you, So thank you for, doing that. And congratulations again. Lee, we need more Heart Sisters to share their voices and stories. Hey, can I join? I can be a sister too. Okay. So, and Susan says, hey, Bev. And then we have Shelly says hello. And Shelly smiles. So, oh my God, there are so many. But let's begin the show now. Given that everybody is here, we have so many people here. We're so thankful for everybody joining. I know I've been a motor mouth now. I had to make sure that each and every one of you is acknowledged and you know that we're watching you. We are so thankful for you joining us. And let's begin the conversation. Bev, take it away.
Okay, well, a lot of people have asked me a lot of different questions about why I do what I do, and my shirt pretty much says why. Life is why.
Hang on,
Here we go.
let's,
All
there you
right,
go.
gotta get it straightened up here. Life is why. Um,
Well,
you know,
that's one thing I can't do, straightening up. Kidding.
Just not too long ago, somebody asked me if the American Heart Association failed me. And I found that to be a very interesting question. And that actually brought up the subject of this evening is, did the American Heart Association fail me? And my answer right away was no. Actually, the American Heart Association picked up the pieces and helped me go on. Because after my heart attack and not understanding what happened to me, I actually started thinking about what happened, and I started researching everything of what had just happened to me. And all of the answers that I got that helped me through what I was going through came from the American Heart Association. And that's when I became an advocate for them, because they were there for me.
So
then I started thinking.
Let me ask you something. Sorry for interrupting. You said people asked you that question. Why would people ask you that question? What was the concern? What made them think that, that they didn't really help you or they failed you?
I think because the American Heart Association isn't as known as maybe the Susan B. Komen breast cancer marches and things like that, that maybe it was thought that because of the fact that we don't have and we haven't found that person to push through to have those kind of runs and walks and things like that, that they are looking possibly at the American Heart Association as a failure, but it wasn't. That Susan B. Komen, and I praise her, I bow to her, she's brought a lot of awareness, which is exactly the reason why I thought that the number one killer of women was breast cancer. I didn't realize that it was heart disease.
And you know what? Until you actually said that, and this is very recent, until you said that, even I didn't realize that, because I was posting something about breast cancer. You know that I've been, doing different things, and I do the marathon, and this year we can't do that. So, I'm doing the different challenge. So I've been doing this for more than 15 years. And until you actually stopped and said something to me, even though I had known you, I didn't realize how big an issue is it, right?
Well, see, that's just it. So then I started, and it was back right after my heart attack that I actually started thinking about, how come I didn't know this? How come this is just, I thought if I was going to die from some kind of an illness, it was going to be from breast cancer. And that's the secret that I need to make sure that needs to get divulged by the one person that all women depend on. They're the one person that every woman generally goes to see for an appointment once a year. And what do they discuss with you? Breast cancer. They give you a breast exam. They talk about self-examination, and that's your OBGYN.
And it's funny you say that, because it is true. Fun part is, even as males, you're told that even males can have breast cancer. So on one hand, we are actually telling the males to also be aware of that, but we are not talking about another disease that's affecting both genders. And you're right, because even today, I know, check your lumps. There are videos about there. There's so much information out there for breast cancer. There's so much out there that people know. I think almost everybody, even before they are 15, the girl now knows to check for the lumps and everything. But no one's talking about heart disease amongst women.
So what happened with me was after my heart attack and I went in for my appointment, I said to my doctor, I said, you check my breasts all the time and you talk to me about breast cancer, but I says, why have you never talked about heart disease? I said, do you know that I just had a heart attack? She goes, yeah, I see that in your information. And I says, why didn't we ever discuss this? I said, because when you talked to me about breast cancer, I took the time. I examined myself. I made sure I was okay. But you never, ever told me that I could die from heart disease, because that was actually the #1 killer of women.
It's not even raised.
It's what?
It's not even raised.
Nobody discusses it. That's the silence that I said needs to stop. And this is something that I have wanted to start on and working towards, is stop the silence. I have talked to so many doctors and saying, we need to stop this silence. We need to talk about heart disease. In the doctor's offices where women are seen the most, not afterwards, after you have an event. You need to know about this prior to. That's communication with your doctors, and that is prevention. It's prevention of a heart attack. We don't want to have heart attacks. We don't want to have strokes. And unfortunately, this is where we need to start.
Right. And this is one thing that with heart attack, stroke, and so many other complications come that people don't talk about. And a lot of it originates from heart attack and the impact it has. And guess what? Even mental health gets affected by it,
Absolutely.
So,
heart disease is the #1 killer of men and women. It's just not women, it's both. But yeah. I would like to hear from the women who are watching. How many of you have actually been talked to by your women doctors about heart disease and asking you the questions? Because mine didn't. And although when I was in my 20s, I knew I had high cholesterol, but it was uncontrollable, although I didn't know that at that time I had HF. So how many of you actually were told, you need to be careful, did you, asking you about family history, but instead you ended up having to get to a point that you had a heart event. Something happened that led you to no way of turning back. And so that silence needs to stop. And what needs to happen is when you go back to see those doctors, you need to tell them that, check my breasts, but I need you to share the word about heart disease to other people, because that's what's killing us.
Absolutely. So guys, the first question Bev and I have is, how many of you have actually been asked by your doctor? And you know what, I'll actually add to that, by your doctor as well as your family, your mothers, your fathers, how many times have you've had all kinds of talks as you grew up, but have you had a talk about heart disease? Have you had a talk about overall health care for your heart? So tell us what your story is. Tell us, how did you find out about your heart event? Did you have to wait till did a heart event happen before you actually realized, or was there any prevention, any education before that? We'd love to know that. And I want to quickly take some comments. We have lots of comments coming in, so let's take some comments. Shelly says, love the shirt. She loves your shirt.
You. Shelly, that's from the American Heart Association.
Shelly, you're talking about my shirt, all right?
It's his. I know you want his.
And Sanjit says, hey all. Beth says, I did not know either that heart disease is #1 killer. You're so right. And that's it. A lot of people don't know. They don't have a clue. And Lee Chiller says, amen. Gynecologists need to help raise awareness for women's heart health. Absolutely. And Shelley says communication is key. That is
Mhm.
the biggest thing. If you communicate, you tell, you ask questions, how much you can prevent, you know.
Right.
Joanna Mansk says the same here. Breast cancer is always mentioned, but not heart disease prevention. Never. True.
Right.
And Chris says, how many doctors do not even know the symptoms of heart attacks in women?
Many.
Let's talk about that.
That's a good subject.
So, I mean, you know, you're a woman. Everybody watching here, most of us, most of the ladies are here. So, what's like? How can a doctor not know about heart attacks in women or heart diseases?
It's really
That's
some. It's really something because a lot of times when women go to the emergency room and they go in, and a lot of times they get diagnosed with anxiety, and it's not always anxiety. They do troponin levels, which is the enzyme that shows if you're having a heart attack. Well, we're not medical professionals here and we can't make diagnoses, but it is well known through the heart community that it can take hours for that troponin level to start raising high enough that it's going to show something. So there are some women that will actually go home from showing that they have some kind of a heart attack symptoms, such as the jaw pain, the shoulder blade pain, the shoulder pain, the pains in the neck, acid reflux, pressure. There's a multitude of them, especially with women, because they're all so different. But you can go to the emergency room and you just don't know. It's a hit or miss. I'm fortunate enough that many women do get cared for, but the one thing that we tell women all the time is if you go home and it's still happening, go back. Even the doctors and nurses will tell you, go back. Your life is why. Because if you don't go back, you could die. So, it's extremely important to be an advocate for yourself. Being an advocate for yourself and stepping up and saying, this isn't right, and I'm not leaving until you tell me what's wrong, and stay overnight, check it out.
right. And the biggest thing is with heart disease, there is no going back. Once you have the heart disease, the lifestyle changes. So it's not something you can reverse. So if we need to have more awareness, we need to have more conversation, we need to have a dialogue, because there are so many diseases where you can get better and all that, and you can get in remission. But once you have a heart disease, your lifestyle changes for good. You
It
know,
does.
you
It
have to
does.
watch blood pressure, you have to watch your mental health, you have to watch no stress. Like, there's so much involved. The entire process itself can be very stressful, just managing yourself, and
Well,
it's actually
this is why I say that the silence needs to stop. It's because of the fact that, I can go a year without seeing my PCP, my regular family doctor, and, may not see any other doctor. Now I see my cardiologist, but I do see my women's doctor every single year. And those are the people that need to be talking to us about this. They're supposed to have our backs, and they need to change their practice. I was told that when they are talking to women about breast care, that it's like talking to women in the headlights. And I said, is that your excuse for not talking about heart disease? Because it's important to have breast care, but it's also important to make sure that you open up about the number one killer of women and men, heart disease.
And the thing is, as a doctor, it is your duty. It is your duty to make sure that you look after the overall health. And I'm not bagging doctors here. I'm just saying it is a responsibility that all of us have. The community has, the parents have, the family has, everybody. I want to share some more comments. Some really beautiful comments are coming in. Beth says, never. I had to tell them. Beth Green, she had to tell the doctors. Doctors didn't tell her.
Mm-hmm.
here's something I'm really glad about. Dr. Shelly Plum says, my doctor is amazing. She talks about
You're
heart disease.
lucky.
I have even had a stress test. How good is that?
Okay,
Shelly,
but at what age did she actually give you the stress test, and what age did she actually talk to you about heart disease? Heart disease, and that needs to be talked about at in the age of after high school. It needs to start in your early 20s. It's wonderful that your doctor did that, but at what age?
so Shelly, if you're still watching, please let us know at what age were we actually recommended. It's up to you if you, if you want to share the age. We don't want to go into numbers, but we'd love to know because it's good to know. And I'm glad there are doctors out there who are already doing their job right. And then Christine Hotline says, I was 45 and told my symptoms were anxiety and had HA
Yeah.
days later and almost died. That's heart attack, guys. And I agree because, I have
Mm-hmm.
had events, and my initial diagnosis, without diagnosing me, was, oh, anxiety. You're working too much. You're stressed. That's what I was
Yeah.
told. So I was told to take some extra rest. Do more gym and all that. But you know what happened? There was a point later on when I was told you need to stop working out for now. Right now,
Right.
your heart cannot handle it. So if the diagnosis was at the right time, I probably would have stopped because what I did, I started working out extra. I stressed my heart more. I literally was killing myself, you know?
Right.
So it's about talking in conversation. Chris Rainier says, and I hope, Chris, I'm saying the last name correct. If you do that, you will need to take a chart with you showing the symptoms because they only know the symptoms in MENT. What's MENT?
I'm not sure.
Probably there's a typo. But I want
Yeah.
to also, I want to again just do that disclaimer again, Bev. We are not specialists. We are not professionals. We are
Right.
not doctors. We are
Exactly
just,
not.
this is just a dialogue. We want to create
Exactly.
awareness about importance of knowing what heart diseases are there, what you need to do to be, and as early as your teenage, you need to be taught about heart care and diseases that you can prevent. We'll talk more, but give us just a second. Producers telling us to take a break, so we'll be right back after this break.
Okay.
You're watching Almost Naked Conversation with me, Sebastian Oni, the Almost Naked CEO. But I am not the primary host today. Today's primary host is Bev Pohlit. I almost said Dr. Bev Pohlit. I feel like she's a doctor, but guys, disclaimer, we are not doctors. So Bev is talking about heart diseases amongst women, the importance of awareness, and the lack of dialogue, including from doctors, about heart health, not just women or men, but in general for everybody, and how early it should be taken care of. So let's bring back my co-host, Pohlit.
Hey, I'm back. Thanks
Absolutely.
again, Sebastian.
Hey, thank you for actually, starting this dialogue because this is what Almost Naked Conversation is about: keeping it real, keeping it raw, and actually touching on topics that people
Right.
are either not talking about, or it's a taboo, or something that is so important but just nobody's paying attention to.
The crazy thing about all of this is I because of the fact that Chrissy and I co-founded a Women's Heart Support Group, because of the fact that we found out that there was nobody out there for us to talk to, and we felt very alone. So we found each other actually, and we began this group. And because of the lack of awareness, women don't truly understand what's happening. I was having a heart attack for 5 days
Wow.
before I actually went to the hospital. And my poor husband got woken by a slap across the chest saying, "Oh my gosh, I feel like there's muriatic acid
I'm
burning me
sorry.
up inside my chest." Oh, but wait, because this is almost naked conversation, I can tell you, I
Yeah.
went in, brushed my teeth, changed my underwear as my mother taught me before I got put my stretchy pants on it and went to the ER or whatever people call it in whatever country. But it's like, it's, I still didn't get it. He did, but me being so-called doctor mom, I didn't get it. And then till they said something to me in the hospital. And I kept on saying to them, "No, you don't get it. I exercise, I bike and hike 50 miles a week. I eat organic. I have an organic garden and I can it too."
Right.
So I thought I was doing everything right. So when I presented with this, it was just unbelievable to me. But this is where I understand where other women are coming from, and they don't get how they got to where they are.
And I
And
think that is one of the most important things that we need to talk about because there's two things that I'm noticing here. Number one, of course, the society has trained, and I hate this, and I hate is a strong word, but women are, I know they're nurturers, I know they are powerful, but women are taught to keep it inside, to
exactly,
deal with it.
right,
Women are psychologically trained in society to not say what they're suffering with. And look at it. It could be this, it could be a hard event, it could be something.
exactly,
And the problem is, my fear is sometimes it could be too late.
exactly. And that's the problem is actually a couple of years ago, it was almost 75% of women who presented with some kind of a heart event actually died from it. And with the help of the American Heart Association's Go Right for Women campaign, those numbers decreased tremendously. But it doesn't help the women who are still suffering from the emotional effects of what has actually happened to them in their event. And some of them could actually be anywhere from sudden cardiac arrest to getting a virus that attacks their heart, and now they're in heart failure, to women that have had chemotherapy or radiation for another reason that attack their hearts. And there's a multitude of other things that happen besides the fact of plaques and clots or whatever that have caused heart events. So now the women are looking at, where do I go from here? And
Right.
that's where our Heart Sister events with our support group, and we are actually online too. Your producers can actually give them our website, and they can contact us if they want to join us in one of our virtual meetings, and they can join us from anywhere in the world. But it's very, very difficult for women to deal with these events. And right now, again, they need to stop that silence in those doctors' offices and talk to their women patients about awareness.
Absolutely. And our producer is going to very soon going to put up links for you guys to check out, and just get more information. So tell us a little bit more about Heart Sisters. But before you do that, we have so many comments coming in. I want to acknowledge the comments. And so let's do the comments, and please feel free to read. I'm reading them all. Feel free to read them. So
Okay.
there you go. So Shelly says, great info. Thank you so much. And Chris was saying, so I was confused. So what she was saying is men, if you do that, you will need to take a chart with you showing the symptoms, because they only know the symptoms in men. Now, how bad is that? The doctors only know the symptoms in men. They don't even know the symptoms in men. I think the whole medical field has to take a second look at this and go, what did we miss and why did we miss it?
Right.
So it's very important to, I think this is a really important dialogue. And we need to do this over and again, Bev, really, because this is not enough. One conversation is not enough. Then Lee says, I have addressed that with my gynecologist ever since my heart attack, that he needs to share information with his patients, even prevention posters on the wall, the minimum they can do. That's a great point.
And Lee, what's his response? That's exactly.
I've never seen a poster about heart disease. I'm not talking about gynecologists. Right. I'm saying any doctors.
Right. Well, I don't think you would go to a gynecologist, but you don't know.
Never know.
Never know.
A few years ago, I actually posted on my Facebook. My gynecologist said I need to get my teeth taken out. So let's talk about that.
Anyhow, that is a very good subject that I actually brought up to my gynecologist about. Posters, or while we're waiting for the doctor, some little informational flyers that they can hand to the patients as they're waiting for the doctor to come in. So it's very important to use a lot of written dialogue besides the fact of talking. So let's take another comment.
Absolutely. Before we do that, I just want to remind people, guys, you're watching the Almost Naked Conversation on Dramaniac TV. And guys, this is a very important conversation about heart disease in women and in people in general. So please, if you know anyone who's had a heart event, or if you know anyone who should know this, please share this YouTube link right now. Invite your friends. This is such an important dialogue. Even if you're watching watching a replay, please share the message around. This is about creating awareness, creating dialogue that is so important that it cannot be ignored. And let's take a few more comments. We have a lot of comments, I can tell you that. So,
my husband is a doctor who knew about my family heart disease. It was he that pushed for testing in my 40s. Those scans were clear. My heart disease popped up when I turned 60. But isn't it something, because you can actually go 1 year like I did and have a scan and be fine. And the following year, I actually had a heart attack. So thank you, Susan. Yeah, you want one. Don't you want this, Shelly, huh?
You should be even better with circles. Actually, Shelly, there's lots of circles on the print, so yay. Shelly and I have a theme for circles, so that's why she's mentioning that.
I took a stress test at 51 and was told to come back in 5 years. Little did I know, 1 year later, I would have a heart attack with 100% blockage, and got a stent morning after a spin class. Oh, wow. Right after your spin class. There you are, trying to do something healthy.
Look at the irony. You're trying to do something healthy. You're living. It is a proof that you're living a healthy life. You're doing all the right things.
Right.
But there you are with a heart event.
Right. Exactly. Even cardio nurses do not know. They mention chest pain and arm pain and shortness of breath. Absolutely. There are so many nurses that are in the in cardiology medicine, or even, just the professionals themselves, and question, because it's like, is this going to actually happen to me? Because it's the silence that still happens.
Right. And, before I put the next comment up, I also want to say I think we should invite some doctors as well, some specialists, cardiologists, everybody, and have a conversation with them, because I think especially the doctors who are proactively talking about it, We should bring them. We should have a dialogue about that. I would love that if your co-founders also join us in one of these conversations, and if we can get some doctors as well. And let's create as much awareness as we can, because I think this is just the beginning of what we're doing, and it is very, very important.
Sounds good.
That's already read. Okay. Christine says we need to share our stories with anyone and everyone to spread awareness. I talk to all my doctors now and share brochures for Health Sisters Heart Group. Christine, you need to come in for sure. We need to have a dialogue. Let's all three of us do it together, and let's bring other people as well who have their stories. We would absolutely love to do that. Okay. And oh my God, seriously, there's so many comments. I'm struggling to get through them. Okay. I'm not sure by the comment. There you go. Chris was told that she had allergies. Look at that.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, that's amazing.
My heart attack signs were shortness of breath the night before and bad heartburn that morning. Called doctor who told me to take an antacid. And oh my God, that's so common a mistake doctors do. But I'm sorry, I'm not being anti-doctor. I respect my doctor so much, and I've had to deal with so many doctors that I cannot disrespect a doctor. But this is the important thing, that doctors need to take this more seriously.
Right.
And she said, even if it didn't get better, go to the ER. 30 minutes later, I went into SCA. Just imagine that,
Yes.
Lisa said she was.
For those who don't know, SCA is sudden cardiac arrest.
Yes. Sorry, I should not assume we know this, but a lot of audience.
There's a lot of people that don't know what it means. Yes.
So, guys, that is sudden cardiac arrest. Lee says she was 44 years old, and
Yes.
Dr. Shelton says she was 30 years old when she was told to get a checkup. That's good. That's a good
Right.
start.
That's good. That's very good.
But as you said, it should be as early as teenage. People should be talking about it already. And then Red says, never. I go in and advocate for myself. I started at 34 hearing you're too young. You are too young. You're a woman. You don't have heart disease. How wrong is that? You're a woman.
Yeah.
You don't. The assumption that women don't get heart disease.
And that's the problem, because there's a lot of women that are in their 20s and 30s that have not only heart attacks, but strokes. And, strokes, they're very, very, they can help them quickly as long as they get in there fast enough. But heart attacks, if you have that awareness with your doctor and you have that dialogue going on, you can change your future. You can definitely help prevent any kind of heart events. This isn't something that's going to definitely happen, because some people would turn around and say, well, I had my heart event because it was hereditary.
Right.
Well, you can stop those different things that are happening to you in your life, and you can make a difference in your life and change it so it's going to be better. And
Absolutely.
That's what we all have to do.
We all have to. It's not about one person, one doctor, one woman. It's about the entire community working together, right?
Right.
So once again, we are being told we have to take a short break, so we'll be right back.
Okay.
And once again, if you're just tuning in, you're watching Almost Naked Conversation with me, Sebastian Ane, the Almost Naked CEO. And today's primary host is not me, it is Bev Pohlit. She is co-founder of Heart Sisters. I always forget the name, so she is going to correct me as soon as she comes back on camera. But I believe it is Heart Sisters Heart Attack and Disease Support Group. And she has gone through heart event herself, and she has ever since made sure to talk about heart disease in women, and she has been a staunch advocate and supporter of heart disease awareness. So we'll bring her back in a second. There we go.
Hi, I got some more light.
There you go.
It's getting dark here in the.
You again.
I felt like I was getting into a dark cloud. It was like, okay, we need to turn on a light.
Hey, let me just say this: you're the ray of light, so you don't need light.
Oh, thank you.
So,
but you know what though?
Sorry, go ahead.
It's really funny. You said a ray of light, but my co-founder, Christine Hartline, she made a comment, and I have to agree with her 100%. Some of my best friends are heart attack survivors, are heart disease survivors. They are the people who bring so much light and love into my life. And she says, we need to share our stories with anyone and everyone to spread awareness. I talk with all my doctors and share brochures for Heart Sister Support Group. And that's what, she's amazing, because when I was working almost 40 miles out of the area where we lived, she was like the little Energizer bunny running around delivering brochures to all the doctor's offices and everywhere and anywhere that would take them in. And I helped the best that I could, working full time. But these are a group of heart sisters. And as I said, it was really something, because Chrissy and I found each other on Facebook, and she made a comment saying, is there anybody here from Berks County, Pennsylvania? And I wanted to jump through my iPad, and I was like, I'm here. And from that day forward, I think it was 6 months later, we started our first Heart Sisters meeting, and that was January 11th of 2018. So that's 2.5 years ago. And we are strong. And the nice part about it is where other groups have failed, we have succeeded because our group is growing. And with COVID, it's kind of set everybody back. But the nice part about it is we right away, before anybody else did it, we jumped on board and we did virtual meetings. And we started that immediately after shutdown of COVID. Now we're setting ourselves up with some different features of handling our group support. And we're going to continue going on. And we do it as a group. And, it's not about Chrissy and I. It's about us. It's about all of our heart sisters. And, we have to be there for each other, because it's different. Sorry, Sebastian, than the men.
No, absolutely. It is. And again, I want to talk more about Heart Sisters, and I want to talk about the events as well. But again, we're getting so much love and important comments. I don't want to ignore one of them. So let's begin with Beth says she also for 5 days was going through heart attack and nobody knew, and I think, this is something we need to talk about, that if you feel, we're not doctors, so we don't know what the symptoms are. You are not doctor, I'm not doctor, the audience, not everyone is a doctor. But if you feel something is not right, if you feel that this is more than normal, speak out. Talk,
you need to go. You
communicate.
You know what?
Action.
And the one thing that I would like to emphasize is you do not drive yourself. You call an ambulance, and you can collapse. You could have somebody else drive you, and you could collapse, and they wouldn't be able to help you. Call an
Yeah,
ambulance.
absolutely. And that's it. That if you are, I think one thing about human mind is we know when something is wrong. We may
Right.
not know what it is, but we know when something is wrong. Our
Exactly.
mind is telling us that okay, this is not normal. This is too scary. The minute your heart and mind says something is scary, don't take chances. Just
Right.
take full action.
Exactly.
Ambulance, contact the family and say, if you're alone, contact somebody and say, hey, I need support. Call 911 wherever you are, whatever your emergency number is, call them, get immediate action and attention. And if it is nothing great, at least you got checked out, And
Exactly.
Rayat says, sorry, I went a month unmisdiagnosed. Wow, I hope I read that right. Till my heart was ready to burst, and I was on my deathbed till they finally got to a heart hospital and did the angiogram. I cannot even imagine, sorry, Ray,
Yes.
what you feel about that because, and I would love if you're willing to come to the show and actually have a conversation because I think what you're just mentioning, just imagining that
Yeah.
is so scary.
Right. It is very
It's
scary.
I don't even know how to react to that, honestly. And Janice Lederman says, thank you for joining us. Janice says, stress played so much in my heart attack. In yes, stress is one of the biggest reasons of heart attacks.
And actually what the scientific is, and I'm not a doctor, I can't say this specifically, but cortisol plays a big factor with stress and heart attacks because it's well known that stress increases your cortisol levels, which could increase your levels of plaque building in your arteries and your veins. You can Google that. You don't need to ask me because I'm not a doctor, but look up cortisol and stress and see what that can do to you because that's very dangerous. And we'll take some more of those messages here in a minute.
There are so many comments. I'm just going to pick them up. So you can take care of some of them because there's so many, and I think you will relate and you can, really share the story so much stronger. So, Janice, should we just read Janice's?
Yes. A woman cardiologist asked me why I was there and told me you should have stayed home and did a stress test. You're too young. You're wasting your time. Isn't that something, Rayette? Because that is something that so many women hear in their 20s and their 30s. You're too young. What are you doing here? Go home. You're stressing out. It's anxiety. No, that needs to stop. Listen, people. Listen, doctors. Lee says, my heart attack is known as widowmaker heart attack, but I refer to it as my widower maker, as they happen as often as women as they do in men. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's so many people that I know that have had widowmakers and that, but the one thing I always say is it doesn't matter where you have your heart attack in your heart. They could all be widowmakers. Only the LAD is noted as the widowmaker because it's the main artery. Found you on Facebook too. Yay! 640 members of Heart Sisters Heart Attack and Disease Support Group. Yay, there she is. There we go. Heart Strong. We have a Facebook. We have a Facebook page. Yes.
That's the important thing. And we'll put up all that information,
Yes.
In the description as well, guys. So, after the show as well, please check the description. We'll put as much information as we can. And one of the things I will say is that, if you know a story, if you have a story, if you know somebody whose story needs to be shared so that we can create more awareness, please get them in touch with Bev and I. And we love to bring them. We would love to, carry this conversation on. And this is just the beginning. So we're running out of time. So I want to quickly handle a couple of topics, Bev. Tell me a little bit more about what does really Heart Sisters do, because we've been talking about it. I want to make sure that people know, those who are new, that what does Heart Sisters group does, and how is it helping the community?
After a woman is diagnosed, or when she's leaving the hospital and she steps outside those doors and they close, she doesn't know where to go. how to share her feelings, because she's going through so much and her family doesn't understand that. They just actually want her to be the person she was before. And she doesn't know how to handle what she's feeling. We do know how to help her through that. We're not doctors, we're not psychologists, we're not psychiatrists. We're women with experience. And we know what we've gone through, and we're going to embrace her. We're going to hold her hand. We're going to talk to her, whether it be on the telephone, through the internet, or whatever communication is possible at the time. We're going to be there for her. We have reached out to people around the world, and the one thing that we are is we are Heart Sisters strong. And the reason why is life is why.
Absolutely. And guys, we have the website crawling at the bottom. So heartsisterssurvivors.com. For more information and how to get in touch, please check out the website. That's where you can find all the information, and we will post more information. So, do check out the, and remember to subscribe and turn on the notifications on our YouTube channel and anywhere on social media you find us, so that, because we're going to have so many more conversations on this topic, and if you have your notifications turned on, you'll know when we go live. And please share the word, please spread the information, create as much awareness as you can, because every drop in the ocean counts. Every single drop in the ocean counts. And we have some more comments. So Susan says she also found you on Facebook, and Chris says, I almost had a widowmaker, but I grew a new artery.
Yes, you're very fortunate of that. Yes.
Very, absolutely.
Heart Sisters are great. Thank you for being a member of Heart Sisters, Beth.
Absolutely. So guys, remember, the website is crawling just under our pictures. Please check out the website, see how you can be a member, see how you can contribute, how you can help. Just spreading the word is going to be a great thing. Tell me one more thing, Bev. Since starting Heart Sisters, obviously you've come through lots more stories. You have experienced so many more women's, journeys.
Yes.
What has been the positive change for you since starting Heart Sisters?
Seeing women smile again. Seeing a woman who came in tears and left smiling, knowing she wasn't alone.
That's beautiful.
You're not alone.
That is absolutely. And guys, please know that you are not alone. Talk.
We will never let them be alone.
Take action, and reach out, Heart Sister Survivors. And as Beth said, they're international. Their reach is international. No matter where in the world you are, wherever you're watching from, contact heartsisterssurvivors.com, or contact us on Almost Naked Conversation Show or Dramaniac TV. We'll get you in touch with people, and support each other, be there for each other, save lives, make a difference. Every single drop counts. Every single drop in the ocean counts. And we have more comments. Ray says, love you, Heart Sisters. And Lee says, thank you for helping to raise awareness. This is just the beginning, guys. So there's so much more we're going to do. Make sure to stay tuned in, turn on the notifications, and subscribe. And please share the word. So before we close, we're almost towards the end. I just want to ask you, Bev, since this COVID happened, and of course it's changed life so much, it is very challenging right now. And
yes,
the biggest challenge is lockdowns, the fear, what's going to happen. There's so many conspiracy theories and so much more going on. Right now, it's added pressure on your heart and your mind, and then not being able to catch up, not being able to do the traditional sort of support. How is it creating the challenge for you, and how are you on, finding the answer to that challenge right now?
Well, every month I actually believed that it was going to get better. And, we started the virtual meetings, and we'll have to continue those again, because it's very difficult. You can't, we do try to get a small group, if people can wear masks or whatever, and we spread out in a huge circle, in a picnic ground area, sort of. It's near a walking trail. But we have to be very cautious. We can't get a group of people together because that's not safe. So virtual meetings is pretty much what it's about. And the nice part about virtual meetings is it doesn't matter where you are, you can join because it's a global virtual meeting. And if you reach out to us in Heart Sisters at www.heartsisters.com, Gmail, or his heartsisters111@gmail.com. You can reach out to us and we will give you the website where you can join us for virtual meetings, and we'll see you there.
Absolutely. And I do want to say as well, guys, if you go to dramaniac.com as well, within the next 24 hours, we'll have a lot more information. So please make sure to check it out, and we'll have all the information about the website of Heart Sisters, the email, and different options, programs, and whatever activities are running. We'll put it all there. So please do check it out and share it around. Make sure to stay connected because we are going to bring this topic over and again and have more conversation on this. And make sure that as much as we can do, as much as is possible for us to spread the word, help each other, and create the awareness that we really, really need, right? Okay.
I just ask, ladies, please talk to your doctors. Stop that silence. Get the conversations going. And every doctor that you can share that information with, stop the silence.
Absolutely. And we have more comments. Joanna says, thanks, Bev. Once again, so nice to hear you. And Susan says, Heart Sisters has been a lifeline to me. So scared after I was discharged from the hospital after my I can never say things right, all right, medical terms.
Carotid her husband's a doctor, he could pronounce it, not me, and triple bypass surgeries. Susan almost died. Yes, but she survived.
And we are so grateful that you're here, Susan. We would love to have you on. We would love to share your story as well and create some awareness. Lee says, don't let COVID... Sorry, go ahead.
Don't let COVID scare you away from the hospital. They are ready and prepared to help emergency situations. Do not be afraid to go to the hospital. The AHA says, don't die if in doubt. I was actually at the hospital during COVID, and I have promoted this. I've actually interviewed with newspaper articles in promoting to go to the hospital if you have any symptoms, because it's better to go to the hospital because they have you protected.
Absolutely. Wow. We are over an hour. We didn't even realize how time passed by, but I am so grateful. It's so much for agreeing to be the co-host and actually spreading this message. Thank you so much for that. Bev, before we close, what's one big message you have for everybody before we close the show?
Talk to your doctors. Stop the silence. Get more conversations going about heart disease. No matter whether you're women or you're men, stop the silence and talk and make them talk.
Thank you so much, Bev. All right, guys, thank you for joining in. Thank you for being so involved with us. Please spread the word, share this video as much as you can, and we'll see you next time. Until then, please take care.
Thank you.
Ah, well.